It was supposed to be a quiet Tuesday morning, just another routine day. But for 63-year-old Marcus Daniels, a decorated Army veteran, walking into First National Bank quickly turned into a moment he and everyone who witnessed it would never forget. Marcus wasn't loud. He wasn't flashy. But the moment he stepped through those bank doors, something changed. In a split second, suspicion turned into accusation. And before he could blink, police were surrounding him, all because of assumptions made the second they saw him walk in. What happened next would expose how deep the scars of prejudice still run, even for those who gave their lives serving this country. The morning sun was just peeking over Atlanta's skyline, its hazy light casting long shadows on the sidewalk. Marcus adjusted the worn baseball cap embroidered with his unit insignia as he pushed open the glass doors of First National Bank. His steps were steady and measured, shaped by over 2 decades in uniform, dressed simply in a grey jacket, jeans, and polished shoes. Marcus carried a small manila folder containing his VA papers and discharge documents. Nothing fancy, just the proof of a lifetime of service. He was here to open a savings account, closer to his daughter's house. Nothing more inside. The bank was calm, just a handful of customers scattered around, some filling out forms, others quietly waiting at the reception desk. A young white woman named Claire gave Marcus a brief nod. "Someone will be with you shortly, Mr. Daniels," she said politely. Marcus nodded and took a seat nearby, placing his folder carefully on his lap. A few minutes later, the bank manager, Linda Foster, appeared. Linda was in her early 40s, sharp-featured, blonde hair pulled back into a tight bun. Her navy suit was perfectly pressed, but her smile was tight and practiced. "Mr. Daniels," she said, extending a stiff hand. "Right this way." Marcus followed her into a glass-walled office, the city noises muffled behind the thick panes. Linda gestured toward the chair opposite her desk. "Tell me what I can do for you." "I'd like to open a savings account," Marcus said, setting his folder on the desk and sliding the documents across. Linda flipped through them, her expression neutral but her eyes calculating. "This military idea. And your discharge papers. Very old." "Yes, ma'am," Marcus replied. "I retired 15 years ago." She didn't look up. "Why are you not going through a veterans credit union?" "Most vets prefer those." Marcus swallowed slightly. "This branch is closer to my daughter's place. I want to bank local." Linda's lips twitched into a thin smile that didn't reach her eyes. "I'll be right back." Marcus sat quietly, sensing the subtle shift in the room. The atmosphere had changed. Behind the glass walls, Linda was speaking softly into her phone. "I have a suspicious individual trying to open an account," she whispered. "Claims military documents, but something's off." "I'm calling security." Marcus felt his heart slow. This wasn't right. He had seen this before, the silent judgment, the unspoken suspicion, the weight of 1,000 assumptions pressing down. Minutes later, the unmistakable sound of sirens shattered the calm. 3 uniformed officers entered, scanning the room. One approached Marcus cautiously. "Mr. Daniels? We've had a report about possibly forged documents." Marcus remained calm. He opened the folder and laid every paper out for them. "These are real," he said quietly. "Check with the VA or the Department of Defense." One officer thumbed through the papers while the others looked around the bank. Linda watched from behind, arms crossed, lips pressed tight. If you've ever been judged by how you look or where you come from, hit the like button and share this video. Subscribe for more stories exposing the reality many face every day. Marcus looked each person in the room calmly. "I served in the army for 22 years. I didn't fight for this country to be treated like a threat every time I walk into a bank." Linda's Voice cut through the silence. I was just following protocol. No, Marcus said slowly. You were following your assumptions. The tension was thick enough to cut with a knife. Phones were out, recording. Other customers whispered, uncomfortable. Just as things felt like they might spiral out of control, the bank door swung open again. In walked General Thomas Washington, a four-star retired general and Marcus's former commanding officer, tall, dignified, his military uniform crisp and adorned with medals. General Washington didn't say a word, but his presence was louder than any voice. Heads turned. Conversations stopped. Even the humming of the air conditioning seemed to pause. General Washington approached the group with calm authority. "Good morning, officers," he said. He turned to the officers and Linda, Mr. Daniels served under me for over 20 years. His record is impeccable. Linda's face paled. This is disgraceful. One officer stepped forward. "We have to verify. We follow procedures." The general's voice was steady. "And those procedures do not include treating honorable veterans like criminals based on skin color." The officers quietly withdrew, their faces guarded. Marcus gathered his things, flanked by General Washington, outside the bank. The weight of the moment hit Marcus hard. "This isn't just about me," he said. "It's about every black man who walks into places expecting respect and gets suspicion." General Washington nodded. "We have to keep telling these stories, because silence only lets injustice grow." Marcus's experience is a stark reminder. No matter your service, your sacrifices, or your honor, systemic bias still lingers, hiding in the corners of everyday life. But courage isn't just on battlefields, it's in standing up, speaking out, demanding dignity for all, because respect is a right, not a privilege. But Marcus's fight was far from over. Days after the bank incident, strange calls began, silent calls, unmarked cars parked near his home, warnings whispered through anonymous texts. Stop making trouble. Someone was watching. Someone wanted to silence him. And as Marcus prepared to take his battle public, he realized this was bigger than a bank or a manager's bias. It was a war on truth. What will happen next? Will Marcus find justice, or will the system try to break him? Marcus stood frozen in the doorway, phone still glowing in his hand. The message repeated on the screen. "You should have stayed quiet." Outside, his porch light flickered, then died, and then came the knock. Soft, rhythmic, measured, but when he opened the door, no one, just the empty street, still watching. He stepped outside cautiously, scanning the shadows. That's when he saw it, taped to his windshield. A single photograph of him taken through the window at 2:47 a.m. that morning. That was the moment Marcus Daniels realized. This wasn't just harassment. This was a warning. Marcus had gone to the bank like any other day, but that encounter, the manager's weird stares, the security guard trailing too close, and that white officer, Kent, showing up with his badge already in hand. It wasn't random, especially not when the story went viral, not when his face was all over social media, labeled everything from hero to troublemaker. And then the threat started. The next day, Marcus's daughter, Kendra, called him from college in tears. "Dad, someone followed me." "What?" "I was leaving class. Some guy in a grey hoodie was just waiting. He didn't say anything, just looked at me, like he knew me." Marcus's stomach dropped. That wasn't just intimidation, that was personal. He called his lawyer. "Avor, immediately. Avor, they're threatening my daughter." But Avor's voice was tight, strained. "You need to come in now." Avor slid a manila folder across her desk. Inside, photos, documents, surveillance timestamps, and a name circled in red. Linda Foster, the same bank manager who stared Marcus down just days earlier. She's missing, a voice said. Disappeared the day after your video went viral. Marcus narrowed his eyes. So, what's this got to do with me? Avor tapped a folder. Linda was under federal investigation for laundering money through that same branch. Marcus leaned back. Wait, you were saying she was using the bank to clean dirty money? Avor nodded. And the day she disappeared, she had a meeting scheduled. With who? She paused. With you. Marcus blinked, stunned. I never met with her. I know, but your name's all over the appointment logs. Someone wants it to look like you're involved. Marcus felt the blood drain from his face. He was being set up. Later that night, Marcus went through every interaction he'd had at that bank, every camera angle, every strange moment. Something felt off. The camera near Linda's office had been turned off during his visit, and security footage from the lobby, blurry, cropped, edited, like someone had scrubbed the truth. Then came the call from a blocked number. Mr. Daniels, a low voice whispered. You're in over your head. Who is this? Stop digging, or you'll regret what you find. Click. He tried 69. Nothing. No trace. But that voice, it sounded familiar, too familiar. The next morning, he noticed something strange on his phone. His voice memos had been deleted. All of them, and in their place, one new file, just static. And then, a whisper. He was supposed to be invisible, desperate for answers. Marcus returned to the bank's neighborhood and visited a nearby shop that had a security camera facing the building, an old hardware store. The owner, Mr. Ray, remembered him. I seen you outside the bank, Ray said. You wasn't alone. What do you mean? Ray pulled up footage. Marcus's jaw tightened. He saw himself walking in, but there was a man following him he hadn't noticed before. Wearing a hat, sunglasses, and a Bluetooth earpiece. Ray froze the image. Recognize him? Marcus stared. It was Detective James Vaughn, Bradley Kent's old partner. Marcus raced back to Ava's office. She confirmed it. Vaughn had been quietly dismissed from the force 6 months ago. No official reason. No press. He went ghost, she said. Internal Affairs buried the report. Marcus pieced it together. Linda Foster laundering money. Vaughn tailing him, Kent provoking him on camera. And now, someone scrubbing digital evidence. This wasn't just about police brutality. This was systemic corruption, and Marcus had walked right into the center of it. That night, Marcus got an email. No subject. Nobody, just an attachment. A 10-second video clip. It showed a man tied to a chair, gagged, beaten. It was blurry, but Marcus knew that face. It was Mr. Ray, the shop owner, on the wall behind him. Someone had spray painted in red. Stop. Marcus sank into the couch, shaking. They were silencing anyone who helped him. But why? Why him? He opened his laptop, reviewed every article, every camera angle, every voice recording he had left. Then he saw it in a paused frame from the bank lobby, just before Kent walked in, standing at the far wall, facing away from the camera, was Linda Foster, and she was handing something to Vaughn. A USB drive, not to Marcus, to the cop. Suddenly, his screen went black, then a message appeared. You've seen enough. And the lights in his house cut out in the silence that followed. Footsteps on the stairs. Marcus grabbed his phone and backed into the hallway, trying to dial a VAR, but the call wouldn't go through. Just static. Then a loud thud from his daughter's room upstairs. Kendra? He bolted up the steps, heart pounding, swung the door open, and found the window wide open, curtains blowing, and her phone lying on the floor, still recording the last seconds of the clip. a hand reaching through the window and pulling her into the night. Don't scroll. If you want to know who took Marcus's daughter and what secrets that USB holds, if you believe this story matters, smash that like button, share this video, and subscribe for part 2 coming soon. Tell us in the comments, have you or someone you know faced this kind of treatment? Your voice matters. Together we stand. Together we rise.